going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and this is another installment of T3 Crime Watchers, or T3 Crime Stoppers, or T3... Just kidding, we can't... Yo. You better bleep that out, Kato. But I hate having to make this kind of content, okay? But the truth is, watch-related crime is on the rise, specifically where I live in California. Super unfortunate, I don't want to be here. I'm getting the F out as soon as I can, and don't worry, I'm not going to go to your state and ruin it, I promise. But we've made 2 episodes similar to this one covering watch-related crimes, and what brings me to making a 3rd installment, well, these crimes keep happening, but also because of a disconcerting report or notification, they call it a community alert from LAPD HQ. They write, due to an increase in violent street robberies, robbery homicide division, that means robbing, killing, has become aware of an ongoing crime trend of follow home robberies. Suspects have been locating victims in Los Angeles, following them, then committing the robberies as the victim arrives home or at their business. Victims have been followed from such places like Melrose Ave, the jewelry district of Los Angeles, nightclubs, and high-end restaurants in Los Angeles. The target of these robberies has been expensive jewelry, including watches and necklaces. These crimes have occurred throughout the city of Los Angeles as well as neighboring cities. Different suspects have been identified and arrested for these types of crimes. The following, this is the interesting part. The following are recommendations for community members like me. Be aware of one's surroundings for anything unusual or out of the ordinary before exiting your car. Have you seen Los Angeles? LAPD HQ? What the heck is you know what would be unusual is if you step out of your car and there's no raw sewage on the ground and there's no graffiti and there's no like people getting mugged in front of you. That would be unusual. Next point. Be cautious of displaying high-value property in public such as purses, watches, and jewelry, because, again, if you own anything nice in Los Angeles, it will be taken from you. Next point. Record and report suspicious activity to the police. Write down suspicious suspect vehicle descriptions. Here's the deal. There's been numerous examples of people calling the police and reporting things, and LAPD being like, no one died? All right, we're not sending anyone out there. So the fact that they tell you, hey, record and report, if you see something, say something. Okay, the truth is, they don't have the resources and they don't want to put the manpower on things that aren't already crimes. So if you call them and you're like, hey, you know, I think there's someone casing this joint, I'm kind of worried here, they're not gonna send anyone, all right? They're just saying this to say it. That's I guess, my opinion, but whatever, comment in the comment section if you agree. If you're driving and believe you are being followed, dial 911. If possible, drive to the local police station, or nearest police station, excuse me. Next point. If you are being robbed, do not resist the robbery suspects. Cooperate and comply with their demands. Be a good witness. You know, this is really rich, no pun intended, but this is like infuriating. I mean, it's probably decent advice, like you don't want to get into it if you don't have to, but if someone's in your face wanting to do you harm, threatening to do you harm, you got to make some decisions there, because there's multiple examples of them, like bad people, sticking you up and just killing you or hurting you anyway. We're going to get into some of those examples here, but there's an example that just happened at the time of filming, not in Los Angeles County, up north in Oakland, where these 2 guys went to an Uber driver who was literally just starting his shift, broad daylight. They opened his car door and just shot him point blank, and he died. So, like, I guess you roll the dice anytime you step out your front door. I think Under Oath had a song, It's Dangerous Business, walking out your front door. But the truth is, like, some of these people, they'll just kill you to kill you. They'll just hurt you to hurt you, regardless of if you comply. By the way, I'm not giving advice right now. I'm kind of just venting. I guess this is going to be categorized as a rant. Final point, according to LAPD HQ. After a robbery, immediately call the police department by dialing 911. Immediately write down everything you can remember about the crime, suspects, and suspect vehicles. Okay. Oops. LAPD HQ telling me that I should shut the F up. By the way, it finishes by saying anyone with information of similar violent street robbery was asked to contact LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division 213-486-6840. Okay, so this is really annoying. This is really frustrating. This is not the type of serious content that I want to be making on this channel because I'm the weirdo of YouTube Watch World and I like having fun. This is not fun. But there's numerous examples that we will go over today of people being outnumbered, right? Because they're never going to go after you and fight fair. They roll in packs. And getting robbed and then injured. Like, they're not even fighting back, they're just getting injured. So let's jump into the first story. Beverly Crest follow-home robbery. 3 suspects steal $75,000 worth of items from the victims. The 4 victims were visiting Los Angeles for a birthday celebration. They left a restaurant around 1:30 a.m. They felt they were being followed to their Airbnb after spotting a luxury SUV that had been following them. They did not go directly to their Airbnb. They continued driving until they felt they'd lost the vehicle. Then they returned to the Airbnb, unaware the vehicle was still following them. Overall, the suspects stole $75,000 worth of belongings, including cash, luxury watches, and designer clothes. A detailed description of the suspects was not available. Surprise, surprise. Another example off of Beverly Boulevard. Quote, "Give me your Rolex right now." Man recalls terrifying encounter with armed thief at the Beverly Center parking lot. For those of you who don't know, the Beverly Center is right mid-city. It's actually right before Beverly Hills. It's not the nicest mall, but it is one of the big malls in the center, like mid-city Los Angeles. I don't ever go there. No one really does go there. It's always like kind of under renovation and stuff. There's no stores that I would personally go to in the Beverly Center, but I've been there a bajillion times. And yeah, they have a big parking structure, multi-level. They used to have a CPK there. Man, that barbecue chicken pizza. Ooh, baby. Aww. But the unfortunate thing was this guy isn't even like an LA local. He's from Dallas and he comes to LA, immediately gets robbed at the Beverly Center. So yeah, $30,000 Rolex. He was pistol whipped during this interaction. How pleasant, how pleasant. Hey, I came to Los Angeles and all I got was my Rolex stolen. Guys, buy the t-shirt. We have them fresh off the press at the Time Teller shop. Yeah, don't come to LA. Just don't. Speaking of being pistol whipped, something you didn't think you'd hear me say on this channel, a man and a woman were pistol whipped and robbed in Rowland Heights Saturday afternoon. This just happened very recently at the time of filming. For those of you who don't know, Rowland Heights is in 626. It's in San Gabriel Valley, kind of by Pasadena. And it's the suburbs. It's a suburb of Los Angeles. Nothing bad really happens there. So this, you know, predominantly in the first 2 installments of this T3 Crime Watchers series, things have been happening mid-city, right? Mid-city, West LA, West Hollywood, downtown. You'd expect it there. But now it's kind of bleeding into the suburbs, 626 Valley, nicer, quieter areas. The victims were returning to their car on the 1000 block of South Nogales, I don't know that street. I'm sorry. When 2 men in black hoodies and gray sweatpants approached them, according to Sergeant Tinoco, both a man and a woman were struck in the head with semi-automatic handguns, causing them to fall to the ground, and the man's gold Rolex watch, which is worth about $60,000, was stolen. The robbers, who were believed to be 25 and 30 years old, escaped in a white Dodge Challenger with a black rear spoiler, headed down East Gale Avenue. Huge bummer. There's actually a video of it. I don't know if we're going to show any of the videos of any of it because on the first Crime Watchers episode, we showed some footage and YouTube got super butt mad at us. But people need to know that this is happening, okay? People need to know this is happening. This is happening with crazy frequency at this point. And it's so funny, dude. In the comment section of my 2 other installments of this crime series, I get people in the comment section being like, what else is new? LA's always been bad. Welcome to the city, kid. And it's like, dude, this isn't anything to be proud of. Like, I know some of you guys think it's cool, like, oh, welcome to the rough and tumble city. Huh, you country boy, go back to New Hampshire. It's like, bro, you're proud of this? This doesn't make you cool, man. This makes you stupid if you're okay with having your city degrade before your eyes. It's stupid. The city's crumbling. It's always been bad, you're right, but now it's worse. Next story. This happened June 10th, so 2 days before my birthday. Man throws his luxury watch over a fence to avoid it getting stolen from him. A man in Los Angeles may have stumbled upon an innovative way to avoid being burglarized. Wow. What a funny way of putting this. How innovative, guys. Just throw your item over a wall. You'll be fine. They definitely won't hurt you. Instead of fighting off a would-be robbery attempt with a gun, pepper spray, or hand-to-hand combat, he simply made a run for it, used a parked car as a decoy, before taking off his jewelry and throwing it over a fence. The victim was a bearded man wearing sunglasses. Was it me? It wasn't me, because I only wear G-Shocks when I go out now, so... Bearded man wearing sunglasses and a handbag was approached by a gray sedan before two perpetrators leaped out of the vehicle, ran towards him in an effort to commit a mugging. However, the victim's uncanny response caused confusion on the part of the robbers as one of them motioned towards the fence for a brief moment to ascertain whether or not he should climb over it. They decided not to, yada yada yada. So okay. Best case scenario, his watch is fine. Worst case scenario, he broke his watch, but at least he still has the materials of the watch. Whatever. Then we move to this story. 7 days ago, nearly $500,000 in luxury goods robbed at Malibu lumberyard. For those of you who don't know, there's Beverly Hills, okay? There's Bel Air, there's Santa Monica. I mean, pretty much anywhere you go in Los Angeles County, the homes will be expensive. But Malibu is like beach town for the elite, right? So I know people are going to be like, well, there's no nicer places than Malibu. Yeah, that's true. But Malibu is like peak upper crust. Oh, I'm going to Malibu. Yeah. Like our Porsche Club meetings are typically, you know, we drive through the canyons and then we meet in Malibu and we see the most ridiculous cars and Jay Leno shows up. It's crazy. So tons of money, tons of posh elite folk hang out in Malibu. You wouldn't think that these types of smash and grab robberies would happen there, but they have. A brazen robbery in broad daylight occurred in Malibu Lumberyard Shopping Center, shocking bystanders and store clerks. A group of 6 black male and female suspects wearing masks and hoodies entered the luxury goods store Maxfield on Tuesday, July 12th. The robbers pushed past the store's security guard, grabbed armloads of high-end designer handbags. The crew then quickly raced, wow, the tongue twister, out, and then they got into separate vehicles. Okay, so this was all obviously planned, coordinated, multiple vehicles, hard to catch. But this is kind of what's crazy. There's a trend here. You'd think that these like muggings and these robberies and these smash and grabs would happen at night, right? They're harder to track down when things happen in the dead of the night. But these are like, for the most part, all happening in broad daylight. The Rowland Heights one happened in broad daylight. These smash and grab robberies are happening in broad daylight. The dude throwing his watch over the fence happened in broad daylight. The Beverly Center thing happened in broad daylight. So it's like they're getting more and more brazen, these criminals, is what I'm getting at. Which brings us to our final story, all right? This is not a follow home robbery, really. It's not technically a mugging, although there's not a whole lot of information about it just yet. This is something that I'm covering on the Things That Keep Me Up at Night podcast. What, you didn't know we had a podcast? Well, we do. Check out the Things That Keep Me Up at Night channel, link in the description below. You can also listen to it on Spotify and Anchor. We're also going to try to get it on Google Podcasts and all the other places. But right now, for sure, it is on Anchor and Spotify, also on YouTube. But I'm actually talking to a former armed car guard about what could have gone wrong in this story. Millions in jewelry stolen from Brinks truck near LA. A Brinks truck containing millions of dollars worth of jewelry and gems was robbed on July 11th near Los Angeles. So, a truck was going from NorCal, just below San Francisco, down to Pasadena, which is, again, like a suburb of Los Angeles in Los Angeles County. And I guess somewhere at a rest stop, this truck was looted of $150 million worth of watches and gems, okay? Apparently there was Richard Mille and Cartier in this truck. Now, what's interesting is Brinks has a pretty reputable, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I never record with my device's sounds on, but I guess I'm like the most unprofessional person on earth today. What I was saying before I so rudely interrupted myself is that Brinks has a pretty reputable name in the armored car industry because I believe they're the ones that actually carry money for the US Mint. So, like, if the government trusts them, then we should too, right? But I've spoken to 3 cops and 1 armored car guard about this story, and each one of them has said, inside job. And that's kind of like the logical explanation, right? Occam's razor would probably lead you to the fact that, yeah, like, who knows what's in the truck? Who knows where the truck's going? Who knows the timeline? The guards, the people driving it. I don't know. If you guys have any theories, leave it in the comment section and I'll cover it again in the podcast. But yeah, 25 to 30 bags of valuables stolen. Now, there are some discrepancies in the story as far as valuation goes. Apparently these items were only insured for $10 million, but that's actually pretty common when it comes to these high-end goods. People regularly underinsure high-end products because they don't want to pay high insurance premiums on the products, and they don't really expect their products to get stolen. So they underinsured it, which is a fairly regular occurrence, and then they actually got stolen, and now they're out for a lot more money. So I guess the actual valuation is $150 million, but it was only insured for $10 million, which is a huge bummer. But of course it happens in Los Angeles. Like, of course it has to happen in Los Angeles. This is so stupid, guys. So here's the deal. I'm a watch dealer here in Los Angeles. I don't wear anything but G-Shocks. I don't have my watches where I live. I keep them locked away someplace else. You will never find them. They may or may not be buried in a desert by Nevada. I'm not going to claim yes or no on that. But it sucks. It's hard to enjoy the hobby when, you know, I would love to wear my President. I would love to wear my yellow gold Reverso. I would love to wear my Vacheron. Oh my God, I miss that thing. Haven't worn it in months. It sucks, and I'm the time teller. So now I'm wearing things, you know, like this. G-Shock. I'm wearing things like this, SSC 081. I have a lot of other cool watches that I feel comfortable wearing, but they're not flashy, they're tough, they're not super duper valuable, so just be careful. And the more these crimes happen, which they will continue to happen, you bet I will be covering them here. And please, guys, do support the podcast. It's a whole lot more work for us, but we're having so much fun with it. And we're talking to some really interesting people. Did I mention we got someone that's had 3 close encounters with aliens? So, yeah, things are getting pretty serious. Next Joe Rogan, baby. All right, guys, I will catch you on the next one. Please stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. Always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it.